See, I'm afraid when the world looks at us, when our non-Christian neighbors think about us, they see anger, they see fear, they see defiance. They don't see the love of Christ. They don't see what the world saw in the early church. Those first Christians, what did they do? They were a minority, unlike us. There's enough of us in this country, we feel like we've got our people, right? But the early Christians, that first group, they were a tiny minority. How did they turn things around? 4 things, real quick. Number 1, they prayed fervently. That same prayer that I just shared with you. Lord, show us how to reach them. Lord, soften their hearts so they will be receptive when they see the gospel in me. They prayed fervently. Number 2, they lived among their unbelieving neighbors with uncompromising integrity. There was a very specific pagan sexual ethic and social ethic and way of doing things in the Greco-Roman world. Christianity was nothing like that. They refused to compromise. They weren't arrogant about it. They didn't go on protest marches against Roman ethics and morality. They just lived with integrity. And their neighbors thought they were weird, and yet there was something compelling about it. Number 3, they loved their neighbors in practical ways. There are so many stories about this, but maybe the most spectacular is that Christians were well known for the fact that when these big epidemics would hit major cities, everybody would flee. Everybody who was able-bodied would get out of town to get away from the contagion because they didn't know how to stay safe. Everybody, that is, except the Christians. The Christians would stay behind, and they would tend to their sick, and they'd tend to the sick of the pagans as well, and some of them would get sick, and some of them would die, and they'd say, oh, well, I guess I get to go to heaven earlier. And the Greeks and the Romans would say, what's with these people? Why do they love us this way when we give them nothing but abuse? And then the 4th thing, they spoke the truth about Christ in ways that their neighbors could understand. If you ever do a study of the messages of the Apostle Paul, when he goes to preach the gospel in a new city, there's so many different times this story is told in the book of Acts. If he's talking to fellow Jews, he's quoting the scriptures, he's showing them that the prophets foretold that Jesus would come, that Jesus would die, that Jesus would rise again. But when he's talking to Gentiles, he's not quoting the Old Testament. He's not talking about prophets. Why? Because that means nothing to them. He's speaking the gospel in words they can understand, that they can identify with. He's, in his own words from 1 Corinthians, he is all things to all people so that by all possible means he might win some. And that's how the world turned around. Those 4 things. What I'm asking you to do today, is to pray and say, Lord, we're facing barriers right now. The gospel's not spreading like it has in times past. So soften the hearts of my neighbors and help me to love them like you love them and show me how to reach them. That's what needs to happen. That's what will happen when revival hits. There's a great story about these 2 little Jewish boys, Maurice and Joseph Jaffo. Maurice was 12, Joseph was 10. They were French Jews in the 1940s. Germany had conquered France. There was a tiny little free area of France in the south, and so most Jewish French people got out of town. They fled to free France as quickly as they could. But Maurice and Joseph's parents couldn't afford to leave. So they scraped together all their money, and they made the heartbreaking decision to send their boys ahead of them. They said, we'll try to get to you later, but if you can get to free France, our relatives live there, you'll find them, you'll be safe. So imagine being 12 and 10 years old, and you and your sibling getting on a train and going someplace you've never been. And they came to the end of the line, and they still weren't across the border. They had to pay somebody who took a lot of their money to get them across the border into free France. And once they were there, it was almost nighttime, so they found a barn, just an empty barn, and they bedded down for the night there. But in the middle of the night, little Joseph woke up, the 10-year-old, and he noticed that his brother wasn't there, and he was very scared. So he turned on his flashlight, and he noticed there was a note sitting right there on the ground beside him, and it said, "Don't worry, I'll be back." That's all it said. And with the faith of a 10-year-old, he just went back to sleep. When he woke up in the morning, the barn was full of people. And he found his brother. He goes, "Who are all these people?" He said, "Well, I figured now that I know the way through, I should get others across too." And so he'd spent the entire night going back and forth across the border, finding people and saying, no, I'll take you for free. I'll show you where we crossed. Here's how you get there. Is there a better analogy for what we're called to do? Because we've found the way. We have found the way, not because we're smart, not because we're worthy, because of the grace of God, we have found the way, the truth, and the life. How can we not share that with someone else? And I know there's all kinds of things that make it hard to share your faith, and I'm not asking you to become suddenly this dynamo. I am asking you to pray, Lord, give me a heart for the lost like your heart for the lost. Lord, change the heart of my church, change the heart of the church so that we will love our neighbors like we should.